has being disabled changed what you believe is possible for your own life?
Being disabled changed me for the better.
Mm-hmm.
I have a good friend. His name is Marcus Williams.
Mm-hmm.
He's in California. He's in a wheelchair as well. I look at him as my mentor. He has a foundation called Live Your Day Overcoming. He told me that he thinks that the people that are walking are the ones that's paralyzed, and that stuck with me enough for me to even bring it up today, because in my mind, I didn't I didn't start living till I was, and so I feel like I was hindered from living life when I was walking, and the fact that I know the limit, I know how life can be ended so quickly
Mm-hmm.
that this has made me want to travel. This has
Mm-hmm.
made me want to go meet people. I mean, I wasn't open to meeting people before.
Mm-hmm.
Now, hey, I'm open to anyone. I'll write someone just to say hi,
Yeah.
just to know who you are. Because everyone has their own stories and it can impact your life, but when you're only focused on the ones around you, you don't know what's out there.
Mm-hmm.
So like being disabled has changed me for greatness.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel. I don't feel that this is something bad. I think the pain that I receive is more enough to strengthen me than to bring me down. It's just a mental thing.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is mental. You can either mentally break yourself or you can mentally bring yourself out of that depression
Mm-hmm.
and become more than what you ever thought yourself could be. And that's what I'm doing. Everything that I'm accomplishing now, I've never seen it before. Now my future looks way more brighter because I can see now.
Mm-hmm.
Being in the chair opened my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
You,
So do you think? So that's an interesting quote. So he says that he feels like the people who are walking are the ones who are disabled, and so I guess, do you think that's because people take it for granted?
I think people take it for granted for
Mm-hmm.
one, but people don't know. People worry about things that they have no control over. When you're in a wheelchair, the main thing you have no control over is walking.
Mm-hmm.
So everything else should seem little to you because
Mm-hmm.
you've already accepted something that others look at as defeat.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that, and you run into people that you see them living life and striving for greatness, and they're not in the chair.
Mm-hmm.
But then you see the ones that are depressed and stressed, and you might ask them their problems, and you see like it's not even that big.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't know life. You know what I mean?
I think in my opinion, I think to add to that, I think it's because when you are disabled, and I'm not disabled,
Mm-hmm.
so correct me if I'm wrong, but when you're disabled, you're thankful for the things that you're able to do. And I think a lot of times, if you don't live a life that you don't have perceived limitations as
Mm-hmm.
far as what you're able to do, then you take a lot of things for granted.
You know.
And so, like my best friend, who, she can't, she's going to go blind,
Mm-hmm.
but her independence is so important to her. And so she's very grateful of being able to get up on her own, do the things that she needs to do on her own. And, being very honest, for me, for a long time, it's kind of, just second nature. Get up on your own,
Mm-hmm.
do what you need to do, get in my car, go where I needed to go. But I think to add to that also, it's a certain level of being grateful because you understand, what life could be.
Well, and I'll just close it with this one. When I was in rehab, I ran into, I was shot. I know I didn't say, gunshot wound, but I was shot, and I can still see everything.
Hmm.
Well, I was in rehab with people that was in a car accident and now they suffer brain damage.
Hmm.
I was in rehab with people that had some type of tumor on their spine that left them paralyzed. Basically, I've surrounded myself and seen so many people with worse conditions than mine, and they were living life way more fuller than I was. So it gave, like you said, it made me feel grateful for the things that I can do, because if I can see someone else that's maybe a double leg amputee and he's still striving, then what excuse do I have?
Right. No excuses. No excuses at all. So, how do you go about goal setting? As far as the things that you want to accomplish, how do you set your goals? How do you follow it to make sure that it's carried out?
I do a lot of reading to keep me focused, especially on goal setting. So I do a lot of reading on just different books that might focus on goal setting, or just just ways to accomplish things. But I try not to make my goals so big, but more real. You know, um, it's I learned that patience is a virtue. So whatever I do, whatever goals that I do set, I just know I'm gonna work to them. Like fitness. Some people want results tomorrow.
Yeah,
You
I'm one
know,
of those people.
I have some results that I want to see, but I literally told myself that by next year I'll see it. You see what I mean? Like, I give myself enough time to work to get to that goal, and don't make that goal unrealistic where I fail to succeed. You see? So I make it realistic. Oh, well, my body, I have a whole full six pack by next year. Well, then I can work into getting that. But if I said, well, I'm going to get this in 2 months and I don't get it, then I get discouraged. I bring myself down, and I never accomplish my goal because I don't think that I can make it. I can't get to there. So I just make them realistic enough and give myself enough time to do every one. I feel like, as long as you're working to get to that goal, then you're going to make it.
I think I think your life is a testament that you can overcome anything. I think obviously you're a motivational speaker. You're into fitness and health. You have your own organization. But I think more than anything, what spoke to me anyway, is that you're an overcomer. You've overcome a lot of obstacles in your life, and it's rare. It's rare, one, that you see a young black male with their kids living with them, and it's even rarer that you see one who has a disability. Can you tell me just a little bit about your daughter, what she means to you, how she inspires you?
Oh, man. Well, my daughter, I mean, she's everything. Me pushing myself is to show her that, there's no limits for anything. Me going and participating and going to doing motivational speaking. I take my daughter everywhere I go, competitions and all, because I want her to see a whole different side of people. So my daughter, like, man, she's like my princess. We she's just everything to me, man. I strive for her. I've had her since she was 2, and so she watched me struggle. All I have now is to show her that there's more to it. So every day I'm doing for her. It's just like, man, I live for her. Like, my life, that's me when I'm gone. So she has to carry a legacy that you never give up. You stay strong. And how can she carry that if I don't show it? So it's like we share each other's energy. Her happy self, talkative self, is what gets me going. Every morning. The good morning, daddy, is enough for me to say, it's time for you to get up. That's it. hey, your day starts because you got somebody watching you.
Hmm.
Like, so it's like my daughter's just a huge impact, man.
So tell me about your organization, Disabled But Not Really.
Disabled but not really was started in a hospital bed
Hmm.
because I was actually in the process of overcoming what I was going through medical wise, and I wanted to help others. I
Hmm.
wanted other people to overcome theirs because I know if I was going through that, someone else was. So I started a foundation to promote health and fitness in the disabled community, um, to help them to help instill a physical mindset. You know, to be able to know that you have no limits,
Hmm.
to know that you can do anything. Your disableness is really able. You're
Hmm.
really able. You know, just take the dis off. You
Hmm.
know, so that's where disabled but not really comes
I
in.
wonder where you, well, I wonder where you came up with that name, but talking to you, I figured it out. But okay,
But
all right.
I mean, but it's just to it's just to show people with disabilities that hey, anything can happen. You know, I was 230 pounds and I'm 130 pounds now,
Hmm.
and I all came from being in a wheelchair. A lot of people don't think that they can, you know, transform, and you can.
Hmm.
So, you know, without something backing me, I wasn't going to be able to show people. You know what I mean? And so that's where the foundation came from because it opened doors for me to network and give people that information,
Hmm.
that motivation, you know, to
Hmm.
inspire others that you can't never give up.
So do you think of your situation and what happened to you? Would you call it a blessing in disguise? How would, I mean, would you, how would you look, because your life has improved,
Right,
obviously.
right, right. No, it's a blessing. It's a blessing. I think it was just my plan.
Yeah.
You
You think
know,
it's just a plan for your life?
I just think it was a plan for my life to go through all this, everything I went through.
Hmm.
I just feel that for me to make it out of it
Hmm.
and be as happy as I am today with a
Hmm.
smile on my face every morning, it was just a plan for me. And that's how I look at it. Every day it's a new plan. If it gets hard, if there's something that feels like, you know, it's going to shut me down,
Hmm.
I just look at it as a test to
Hmm.
my plan. And I find a way to overcome it.
That's what I really want people who watch this to understand, that I believe every situation that we go through, good and bad, eventually it does work for our good.
Hmm.
You know, and we don't always understand it, you know, right then. You know, this website for me was birthed out of challenges that I had.
Hmm.
You know, after losing my job, not having finances to pay my bills. I mean, after just my life really was just spinning out of control. And so when I was able to rebuild my life, and in the process of rebuilding my life, I realized I wanted to help people. I wanted to give people the same thing that inspired me to, you know, just to live a better life. And so I kind of feel like that a lot of people get stuck in thinking that because they have bad situations or because they're going through things, that their life is never going to change and it's not going to get better. And you know, oftentimes when we make the decision to do better, you know, there are other obstacles that will arise that will, you know, kind of be a roadblock you know, as far as us achieving our goals. How do you deal with roadblocks? How do you deal with things that kind of stand in your way from, you know, reaching your goals?
Mental strength.
Hmm.
I feel that for anyone, you have to be strong mentally before you can be strong any other way.
Hmm.
And, you know, the fact that I accepted my situation, it allowed me to become strong mentally. So when I do hit those roadblocks, man, I just know somebody's going to open it up. You know, I know that it's not going to last.
Hmm.
I know that there's a way to jump over it.
Hmm.
You know, there's a way to get through it. It's just it might take time. I don't. Sometimes I question myself like, why is this happening?
Mm-hmm.
And then in that same instance, I'm saying, this is just a test for you.
Mm-hmm.
So you just keep doing what you're doing, and that test is you're gonna pass it.
I've learned that too, not to worry.
No, you don't
Not
worry.
to worry. Eventually, it'll all work itself out. So, I just want to play a quick game. Um, I'm just going to make a statement,
Uh
and you finish the statement. All right? So, we kind of briefly touched on some of it, but I'll
Okay.
ask you. So, what inspires me is
My daughter.
my greatest inspiration is your daughter.
My daughter.
Yeah. I figured you would say that. Adversity has taught you.
To never give up and to um, stay striving. Stay striving for greatness. And believe in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Before anything, believe in yourself. Know that it's up to you to be the change that you seek.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I read a book called Outwitting the Devil. I don't know if you ever heard it, but it's written by Napoleon Hill. But in it, he talks about adversity.
Mm-hmm.
And he talks about the moment you decide you want to change your life, the moment that you decide you want to make things better, then adversity comes.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes to see two things. One, if you really want what you're going after, and two, if you're really deserving of what you're going after. Because the idea is, or that he presents in the book is, if adversity comes and you give in to adversity and you give up, then what you were going after, you were not deserving of it.
Right.
Yeah. So, but at any rate, I just thought I would say that. The best advice you've ever received is?
This got me. This is what made me change my mind. Sometimes things happen to people because you were the strongest one to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
That right there. I mean, someone told me that. Someone told me that God does things to the strongest because the ones around you aren't strong enough to deal with it. But you overcome your situations. This was when I was not even thinking about anything.
Mm-hmm.
It just always stuck in my head that as I look at family, friends, I realized that if they were in my same position, it wouldn't be the same way.
Mm-hmm.
I was chosen for this.
Mm-hmm.
And so that
Oh, that's a pretty good perspective. Okay. All right. The greatest lesson that you've learned?
that you don't allow things to defeat you if your life is not over. You learn how to overcome them. I was defeated for a long time before I overcame this. And once I overcame it, I realized my lesson was that as long as I thought I was defeated, I could never overcome. But as soon as I realized that it didn't defeat me, and instead it made me better, that was the lesson. It was the lesson alone was just don't stand in the dark. Don't allow this anything. Don't allow it to defeat you because that's the point.
Mm-hmm.
The point is to bring you down. It's to defeat you. So if you find a way, overcome it
Mm-hmm.
and conquer it, and then you become better as a person. Your life becomes better. Everything about you becomes better.
My purpose is?
To motivate and inspire others like myself, as well as my community, in a world that you can't give up. You can't give up and you can't dwell on things you have no control over. Instead, you live life. If I got one eye, I'm going to see out of this one. You live life because at the end of the day, you're living for you. And if you have a child or kids or a wife or someone or a family, you're living for them. You're living for the ones that's looking up to you. Your struggle alone might put someone else in a struggle.
Mhm.
And for you to overcome it might help them overcome theirs. You know, you never know the impact that you can have on someone. So I just feel like I'm here to do it. I'm here to motivate. I'm here to inspire. I'm here to show everyone that look, you can live life despite what others see of you.
Mhm. Well, I think that's just about it. I appreciate you for doing this interview. Thank you, Wes.
Thanks, man.
Thank you
Appreciate
very
it.
much.